everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week. Is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday? Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. Started. Why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Fellow nerds, my fellow traders, my good friends, everyone in the stock market world. Hopefully you guys had a wonderful start to your week. Today was a little slow, honestly, if you ask me. Not many opportunities. I think there were some opportunities out there if you were looking for them. You got some trades. Apple, for example, gave you some good trades around the $200 area, gave you a couple longs, gave you a couple shorts. Try to see if there some earnings names, TSN, TJTX, ON, they moved around. There was a small cap name that's close to the north side, GPUS. So there were names out there that if you were using the right tools, shout out to Trade Ideas, using the right tools, or if you're keeping an eye out for some certain plays like earnings day 2 on Apple, earnings day 2 on Amazon, you got some names to trade with. But overall, I just felt like there wasn't much out there today, and you had to be very, very selective. So just one of those whatever type of days, whatever type of starts to the month, in my opinion. But tonight, after hours, is where things get very exciting. We have Palantir reporting earnings after hours, and that has been one of the most loved, one of the more favored names out there in the market recently, especially with the what looked like a market reversal, right? We kind of saw the market climbing back up and going on a bull charge, just looking like bear market is over. We're no longer talking about recession and all the other nonsense. A bull charge coming into the market and going back higher, taking stocks that were above the 200-day moving average, such as MSTR, for example, MicroStrategy. Robinhood, I think, is one of them. Robinhood. Not PayPal. PayPal wasn't the one above the 200-day moving average, but Palantir, for example. But going right into the all-time high, you got to trade today for the short side from the all-time high, and from the earnings you got a nice move to the downside too. So potential first red day. I guess that was the first red day over there on Palantir after an insane rally from $100 to 125. But on a good earnings report, you would have thought Palantir actually goes higher and higher and higher, but nope, drops down 8% after raising guidance, after beating EPS, and after saying that there is immense growth coming into play for the stock. So very surprised to see how it played out, and that just means opportunities coming into play tomorrow. So excited to see how the market moves tomorrow, what other names moved today after hours. So let's quickly go show you guys the earnings board. We got a pretty busy earnings board for the week. Big names such as SMCI, who already did their preliminary earnings. Uber, that's a big name over there. AMD, Carvana, ARM, Rivian, Datadog, Celsius, Shopify. I don't want to say Palantir is Peloton is a big name, but that's a name to keep an eye on. And I think Peloton actually made a pop today at some point in the day, or maybe it dropped. I can't remember if it was a pop or a drop. Let's go quickly check it out. I think it was a pop. Yeah, so it did pop to the north side. I can't remember what the news was. It was being talked about in on the Benzinga Squawk. I remember hearing the symbol, but not exactly what the catalyst was. Some of the other names over here: Warner Brothers Digital Discovery, Warner Bros Discovery. Some of these names actually got hurt a little bit. Disney, WBD, Netflix, all pushing down because Trump's talking about imposing possible tariffs on the film industry. So those taking a big damage over there, or not big, but those dropping down today a little bit off of that catalyst, and they also report earnings. So lots of excitement still in the earnings calendar. I know some people usually get bored or turned off that the Mag 7 have already reported, but hey, we still got a ton of names over here on the day trading board for us to take care of, for us to take advantage of. Even small names like Unity, DoorDash, not a small name, but for sure a name to keep an eye on when they report. Oxy Petroleum. So big names out here still for us to be interested in. Small names also like SoundHound. So very excited for this coming week ahead. Tonight after hours, we got some names such as Palantir, Hims, Ford. So why don't I actually go to my watch list and start creating said watch list for us. So tomorrow, and start putting in some of these names: Palantir, Hims, Ford, Reality Income. We'll see if that looks like a good chart or even worthy for us to take a look at. Clorox Company, CLX. Might need to put that one on the list. I think I have a faint memory of trading Clorox during the earnings report, and for sure interested to see if there's a setup over there. Datadog, Race, Ferrari, for any of you Ferrari fans out there. Race is a symbol. They report tomorrow pre-market, but it's also dual listed. It's a European stock. It's an Italian stock, right? So they're listed in the Milan stock market. They're also dual listed in the almost like Canadian, in the US stock market. So if you're interested in Ferrari, which is in my opinion the worst Formula One team ever, so sad to see Lewis Hamilton in Formula One in Ferrari, because you know that's my guy. That's my oh my goodness, I almost forgot. Maple Leafs are playing today. So give me a second while I go tune into Maple Leafs game 1 on one of my 17 million monitors I have here that my dad makes fun of. They actually have 4 monitors, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one's not usable until I get I guess what is it called, an extra graphics card. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, so I could, you know, write off the graphics card as a YouTube expense, and I can't find a goddamn stream. Okay, there we go. I finally found a stream.
Max Pacioretty.
No, shut up. Okay, that was we scored a goal, but I'm hoping that was a goal that we just scored and they're just showing the replay of this goal, or maybe they're nah, that's 100% replay of the goal. All right, let's go. I just need to see what the score is. It's 1-0 Maple Leafs, and the start of the first. The first just started. Wow, the game just started at 8 o'clock. I thought they would have started at 7:30, so I didn't really miss much, and we already scored a goal. Go Leafs, go! Okay, coming back to the watch list prep for tomorrow. Marriott Hotels, not sure that one's really that interesting. CEG is an energy name, and that one was a little interesting based on Trump's election processes. When he was being elected, energy names were booming a lot to the upside, so potential possible setups over there if the stock pulled back and it wants to go back up to the north side or wants to go lower. So I want to see how the chart looks like over there. And then tomorrow after hours, we got some big names which we'll talk about at 8 o'clock tomorrow. So tune in for that one. Let's go pull up. Oh, actually, I didn't even show you my trades on the day. I almost forgot. A nothing burger day for me, really. I fumbled my longs on GPUS. This trade, I feel like was a no-brainer setup, but I kind of screwed it up for myself. That long right there, after the stock reclaims the pre-market high and starts to hold above the pre-market high, you can see how it gives you a very easy long. Even if you trailed it by 5-minute bar lows, you don't get out until what, like $7 or so. I'm basically all out by $6, so I miss out on a whole dollar per share profit. And realistically, if you're holding the stock to, let's say, 9 EMA, that would have gotten you out over there. And if you're trailing to 21 EMA, potentially getting out the trade somewhere here. So still $6-7. You're never always gonna get the top of the top and the best prices for your exits. But sticking to a system where you can mostly get the best out of the trade, I didn't really do that today. So sadly missing out almost on a dollar per share profit extra on this position. I would say that I piked it, but I managed to find a good trade on the day on what I thought was a very boring day overall. TJTX was not up 452%, so ignore that. That was probably GPUS, but in between the switchover process of the charts, I took the screenshot too quick, and it was before the percentage update. It was not up 450%. It was actually down quite a bit on the day based off of its earnings report. So I waited for the stock to go back to the $38 area where I had to struggle off the open. I had an alert order. After that alert order came in, I was kind of waiting to see how the stock would behave. Quickly took my exit and then tried to see what would happen, and that looked like a failed breakout above this area, and I thought the stock would just kind of trickle right back. But what I should have done is been a lot more patient and waited for the sideways action, which I did later on, and I caught the downside move, and there was another trade here where the stock does pull back and then reject and go for the second leg down again into lower days. I think that's exactly what happened. Let's actually go see if that's actually what happened. TJTX, oh, it did not. So I tried to go for a second leg. It did make a lower low, but then buyers came right back in and pushed it right back to the upside. But I think there was a second trade here somewhere that I potentially could have traded. No, not really. I think, yeah, potentially getting stopped out right there, and then it just moves back. Anyways, earnings name, nice little short opportunity over there to take advantage of. Oh, and another earnings name gets smoked. The first goes up on the pre-market earnings report and then gets absolutely smoked, pushes into last week's low. If you go check it on the daily chart, that looks like either the stock holds above 37.50 or it doesn't. And if it holds above 37.50, which is last week's low, possibly a good long to get into over here. But if it doesn't hold around 37.50 or above 37.50, then there's more downside coming into play for me to take advantage of. So I was watching this stock like a hawk, and was waiting for two simple setups: either a break of the previous bar high, but given how extended the stock was, I mean, pre-market we were at what, 40 $46 and now we're at $36 almost, 37, not really 36, but you know, big drop over there off that report, a little overextension possibly, but you know, shorts starting to look to take some covers, so using that short covering and some possible longs coming into play to aid into a long over here. So 2-minute bar high long, and then taking profits on the 2-minute bar low breakdown, which was honestly, that was a great spot right there, because it doesn't really manage to hold anymore after that. So ON gives me a good long. Later on I try to look for a short, but doesn't have too much momentum anywhere. It just trades sideways for the rest of the day, and I basically just take a flat exit and walk away from that trade. Apple, like I said, the $200 area did give you a lot of back and forth. I got myself positioned for a good short. Later on, basically got chopped up a little bit over here, giving back some of the profits, and then back through 200 there was a long, but I questioned that long too much and I just closed it for a flat trade. But you could have gotten it back over here or somewhere in this range if you really wanted to get that long again. And then later in the day, Apple actually breaks back below 200 and pushes back down again. So Apple day 2 today looking fairly bearish, very weak. That was the long right there above 200. You almost got 201.10, probably exiting somewhere in this area near 280, let's say, for profits. And then right back through 200 right there. You're basically playing under over 200, right? Very simple even dollar area, and getting below that 200, pushing right back to the south side, even in the after hours, kind of just stuck in the lower end of the ranges. Not looking too good for the fan favorite Apple. So watch out for that one, especially if you're invested in it. And those were basically my trades on the day. I had a couple other trades like Tesla and so on. And TXN, which is or TSN, which is Tyson Foods. Not really profitable on either of those trades, but I didn't really lose on either of those trades, so I didn't feel like they were worthy to share. TSN, I took that short on the break below of this range. Not much follow through. Possibly could have dumped this position much quicker than holding it to my stop all the way up to 56.20. And then Tesla, I think I try a short on the lower break a day over here, break a low a day over here, and that doesn't have much follow through for me, so I quickly get stopped out on that trade, and that was pretty much it. And that was the end of my trading today. But excited to see how we get to take advantage. Oh, they forgot where the puck was for a second. Excited to see where we can take advantage of the market tomorrow, starting with some of the big hitters as Palantir. So if you're interested in learning more about Palantir's earnings report, stay tuned, because this segment is sponsored by Benzinga. If you're interested in Benzinga getting 10% off, head over to the links down below in the description. You get 10% off on all of my affiliate sponsors. But the earnings segment is sponsored by Benzinga. Not only do you get to use it for awesome news, but you also have scanners, signals, charts such as heat maps and graphs and so on. Benzinga AI, that's something I have not seen before. Interesting to see what that is. And my favorite thing, honestly, is the squawk. So I have this playing throughout the day. Sometimes it gives you trades before they're even, you know, they come out in the news. But if I'm being honest with you, Benzinga squawk is a little bit slower than, you know, maybe what's the one that costs like $10,000? Bloomberg Terminal, right? It's a little bit slower than Bloomberg Terminal, but it's still better than nothing in my opinion. So if you have nothing, then you might be interested in this awesome software. Go check out the link below. Benzinga. Palantir Q1 reports revenue beat, EPS in line, customer count up 39%. Company raises guidance, citing surging and ferocious growth. However, stock at the time of the report dropping to the downside towards $112, $113 area. Let's continue reading the report over here. Reported first quarter revenue 883.86 million, beating estimates of 862.83 million. Reporting EPS of 13 cents per share, which is in line with the estimates. Has now beaten EPS and revenue for 7 straight quarters in a row. Total revenue up 39% year over year. And oh my goodness, where were we? Total revenue up 39% year over year, and U.S. revenue grew by 55% year over year to 628 million. U.S. commercial revenue grew by 71% to 255 million, and U.S. government revenue grew by 45% year over year to 373 million. So why exactly did we get smoked over here? Palantir customer count grew by 39% year over year and 8% on a quarter over quarter basis. Company said it closed 139 deals worth over $1 million in the quarter and 51 deals worth at least $5 million. Palantir generated $310 million in cash and from operations and $370 million in adjusted free cash flow in the quarter. Palantir ended the quarter with $5.4 billion in cash and cash equivalents and the short-term U.S. Treasury secretaries. Our Rule of 40 score increased to 83% in the last quarter. Once again, with breaking the metric, we are in the middle of a tectonic shift in the adoption of our software. I love the CEO, dude. We are delivering the operating system for the modern enterprise in the era of AI. Consequently, we are raising our full year guidance for total revenue growth to 36% and our guidance for U.S. commercial revenue growth to 68%. Outlook sees second quarter revenue to be in the range of 934 to 938, almost getting in the billion-dollar ranges. The company also raised its full year guidance. Palantir expects full year 2025 to be now in the range of 389 to 390 from prior 374 to 376. So pretty decent increase over there for the full year. Analysts were expecting full year revenue to be 3.75, so above the guidance or above the previous estimates. Palantir raised guidance for full year commercial revenue, adjusted income, operations, free cash flow. Everything is basically up overall. Little, not too much. Finally, Palantir continued to guide for positive GAAP operating income and net income in each quarter of 2025. This is a level of surging and ferocious growth that would be spectacular for a company a tenth of our size. At this scale, however, our ascent is, we believe, unparalleled. Said to the shareholders. Palantir executives will further discuss the quarter on a conference call with the investors, and he is probably going crazy the same way he was going last time. I love Alex Karp. I love watching him talk about his company. He's so enthusiastic. He's so in love with his investors. He's so in love with the company. And that's basically what you want to see from a CEO. Madly in love with himself and the company. Example, Elon Musk. Maybe Elon Musk is not in love with himself, but you guys get the idea. All right. However, how positive the report was, the move was equally negative. First makes the new all-time high at $130 and then drops right back almost close to last week's low area. If you ask me, this is a long tomorrow. I don't know why people would not be dying to get long on this name on the dip, especially anyone who missed the opportunity to get long on the breakout near 99, near $100 area. I'm putting my hand up because that was me. Anyone who ignored the breakout near 99, $100 area and missed that free ride into the all-time high, you're probably feeling FOMO. So if the dips do start to feel like they're holding, potentially buying some leaps on Palantir to go much higher in the future doesn't seem like too bad of a call. But if you do look at Palantir's PE, though, that's where you might get a little turned off. Last time, yeah, that's 654 PE. So they're trading at a pretty high a multiple of the revenue that they're bringing in, but they are guiding growth. It's one of the more loved businesses. If companies were priced on the market according to their PE, then you would not see some of these moves, especially like Carvana and so on, right? So PE is just a metric that you use to you know, keep an eye on and keep in mind. But as a day trader, you can't be making decisions off of those metrics. It's something to use for sure. You can use that, be like, oh yeah, they have a high PE, I'm more looking short on this. But then you also have more important numbers like the earnings report, the growth, and so on. At the end of the day, there's only one thing that's king, and it is price action. What does price action tell us? Are they able to defend the last week's low, which is 108, 109? Are they able to get below last week's low and really stay below last week's low? In my opinion, you know, the price is actually more 110 than the last week's low, but you could you know, slip to the downside a little bit over there, which is basically 109, 108.87, 109 area will be pretty important. 108.87 slash 109 on the downside for Palantir, but the inflection level, in my opinion, will be 110. In pre-market, if we're already below 110, then I don't see much upside for this name tomorrow. But in the long term, in the month, multi-year, you know, I like to see Palantir be a dip buy long opportunity. Now, does this dip just keep on dipping right back to the 200-day moving average? Who knows, right? So you want to be careful if you're looking to swing or invest ideas on this, especially after a move like this. You want to see the stock reclaiming some of these levels over here and start looking bullish again. So just a couple ideas for you guys if you are looking to swing this. But for a day trade, it's very simple for me. If it is above 110, I'm only looking longs on dip. If it's below 110, I'm only looking shorts on pops. So, or rips is what they call it, on rips. So pretty simple trade setups over there on Palantir for tomorrow. I do realize that I stopped working on my watch list here, so let me continue working down the watch list real quick of any other names that might be interesting. Some of these names did drop pretty big, so I'm gonna put them in the watch list. TSN, TGTX, ON, Apple did have a good day 2 move today. Mara moved down by 9% after Piper Sandler cut its price target on the stock. NTCL, these stocks were kind of crazy. NTCL and ENGS, yes, oh my god, look at my memory. ENGS dropped from $10 to $2, and I didn't really find any news on this one. And NTCL, so possibly worth keeping an eye on these two also. ENGS, NTCL, put those in the watch list. CEP goes in the watch list. Kids, was it Kids or Zcar? Zcar that went up today again? Zcar went up today. Kids went lower. Not really lower, but it went a little bit to the downside. Zcar, nah, we're gonna ignore those two. TSN's already there. I think just gonna throw large cap in my watch list now, and don't want too many stocks because I'm pretty sure I'll be very busy with Palantir and HIMS tomorrow anyways. So I'm going to throw in some large cap: Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, Tesla, Nvidia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which one am I missing? 7. Google. Bitcoin stuff, MSTR, IBIT, Coinbase, sure, Robinhood, and then last but not least, the markets. Alright, and that is our watch list, or my watch list for tomorrow. The next stock on that report, or on that list, is HIMS. So let's head over to HIMS real quick and pull up Benzinga. Check out how HIMS reported. I actually don't know if they dropped or popped, and from that red symbol over there, or red coloring on the symbol, indicates that the stock actually went to the downside after the report. Went down by 5%. Hims and Hers Q1 report earning revenue jumps by 111%. Wow, penis pills, it really be working. People be buying them penis pills like crazy, apparently. Subscriber count up 38%. Q2 guidance falls short of estimates, sadly, and shares slide. Right before the earnings report, though, they had a pretty good news catalyst, which took the stock to the north side. So I'm guessing that they basically gave up most of that pop. So I'm guessing they moved right back into this $32 area on the stock. Not even, still above last month's low near 38, so not really too big of a move. It did drop 5% ish, but popped right back up and now holding around $40 on HIMS. So let's continue reading down the report here, but I need a drink. Matt Meat Kilik, thank you for the sub, appreciate that. All right. Hims and hers. First quarter, 586 versus 538. 20 cents per share versus 12 cents per share. Revenue up 111%. Subscriber grew to 2.4 million, up by 38%. Gross margin came in at 73%. That's pretty nice numbers, honestly. We are starting 2025 with incredible momentum. Guidance, Hims and hers guided 530 to 550 versus 564. So the low end is much lower and the high end doesn't even meet the estimate. So that is where the downside for the stock comes into play. The company continues to expect full year 2025 revenue to be in the range of 2.3 to 2.4 versus the estimates of 2.32, which is kind of in range over there overall. However, a drop in the quarter is not being loved by the market, or slight drop in the market price based on the quarter over quarter, but the year over year guidance is still very much the same, so not that big of a drop it required, if you ask me, honestly. And you might see a move back up tomorrow. I mean, 111% growth on revenue on penis pills is kind of insane. Granted, it's not the only thing that they do, but it's fun to say that that's the only thing that they do. Hims and hers executives will hold a conference call, not that important. Okay. Laying out expectations for a $6.5 billion in annual revenue for the full year 2030, and okay, not bad. So they're expecting more people to be addicted to their drugs. I guess that's how drugs work, right? People get addicted to them. Don't DM people saying they can't read. They will report you and you can be banned off the site. Reddit hates me so much. They banned me every device I logged on with for Reddit. Why did you do? Why are you picking fights on Reddit? Why are you picking fights on Reddit? What's wrong with you? Stop being an internet warrior, okay? Go touch grass. It's not, if you have to pick fights on Reddit with no-name people that you've never met before, that's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's simply not worth it. Bang! Maple Leaf scored another goal, baby. 2-0. Let's go. Hell yeah. All right, let's continue to our quest on the stonks market over here. Obviously a little drop to the downside, but the stock not even able to get below today's low. Tomorrow would be very, very obvious long, in my opinion. So it would need to stay below today's low, and if it does, I'm okay with looking short, because you could say, you know, this is a little extended, a possible move back into the 200-day moving average to build a bigger support. I'm not calling it extended. Notice I'm not calling it extended, but if it does stay weak below 39.50, I could look for a short into 36, into $35, but I could easily see the stock holding today's low, holding the after hour low, and kind of trading within today's range. So for sure on the watch list, but I can see how you know, the stock doesn't really do too much tomorrow. But if it starts to trade in the higher end of today's range and look like it wants to go above today's range, then I am very interested on a bigger move over there. That's the most of the internet. Yeah, it's just not worth it. Internet, fighting with people on the internet is just not worth your time, man. What a waste of time. All right, Ford reported earnings. How did you do today? And right back to the downside on Ford. But you guys know I am not interested in day trading Ford. Ford did drop back down. Now, I guess if it pops back into 10 and has issues at 10, there could be something to keep an eye on. Last week's low 980. So as long as, you know, if it's below 980 and stays below 980 on pops, there's a short there. If it pops into 10 and stays below 10 on pops, there's a short there. But if it starts to hold, you know, above 10, there's just no more shorts, and I'm not sure I'm that interested on the longs either, especially after a move like that in the after hours. Okay. O did not even do anything. Ugh, the Coca-Cola is making me burp. O didn't do jack shit all. But the chart's actually not that bad. Ah, okay, never mind. It's you know, it's a reality company. It does absolutely nothing. This is boring. I mean, look at this. I'm not sure we see too much. Liquidity is also kind of lame for a $56 stock, 6 million shares. So unless there is extra volume tomorrow in pre-market, I might not care about that name at all. Clorox reported today after hours, a little bit of a drop on that in the after hours here on earnings report, and I like the fact that there's a good range here to play with, so potentially some bounces, but if these bounces are shallow, right? If the bounces don't really have too much juice behind them, then I'm interested to short those pops and look for a move back into these support areas for a trade. So Clorox apparently reporting negative and dropping to the downside, potentially going lower in the pre-market into somewhere into these ranges, and then I get to make a decision. More interested in Clorox honestly than Ford or O, but I'm pretty sure Palantir will take all my interest tomorrow. CELH is another one that potentially will take some of my my screen space. So CELH reporting earnings, Datadog reporting earnings, and energy name CEG reporting earnings, all of which potentially will be taking a little bit of my space. Should rest in peace to MySpace, but potentially will be taking a little bit of my space on the screen to see if there's any trading opportunities out there. Let's talk about TSN. I'm pretty sure TSN reported growth along with TJTX, but both of them got slammed to the downside. So, you know, this is why I say price action, or I don't say it, but someone said it and I'm repeating it. So this is why someone said price action is king. So if sellers are there, then I'm interested to join the downside. But if sellers are not there on the pops tomorrow, then I want to be careful, basically, right? So currently, couple levels over here. Last week's low, basic levels, but not as high of a priority because, you know, Palantir is where most of the fun will be tomorrow, in my opinion. There could be some hidden plays on TSN, TJTX. There's a reason why they are on the watch list. Like ON, for example, you can see how buyers kept trying to hold it into this above 38, above last week's low, but at the same time, someone wanted to offload position, and they are doing so on a very steady process. Every time we pop into $39, it's not able to stay above 39. So constant selling around 39 just goes to show that the seller is adamant about dumping their position, no matter how good of a report the stock was. I don't know if it was good or not. I'm just kind of putting it into a reference for everyone. No matter how good or bad the report was, someone was just selling. So price action is king, and you want to follow as a day trader what the price action is telling you. So Palantir, potentially worth it to keep an eye on. Not potentially, very worth it to keep an eye on for any sort of a momentum trade tomorrow. But these are some some extra names to keep an eye on for day 2 names, day 3 names. So these are day 2 names, these are day 1 names up here, and then obviously these 2 names as I just mentioned. Did I put CEP twice? No. NTCL and ENGS. I don't know what the heck happened with these names today, but for sure watching for some sort of a day 2. Did NTCL really go all the way back up? Wow, insane. NTCL really went all the way back up on very low volume too. These are the type of trades that Lance actually gets long and makes a shit ton of money on. NTCL right here or right here off the news. Boy oh boy, ENGS. Look at that. Halting from like $8, opening at $1.40. People's accounts getting liquidated off of that halt. And a very, very shallow pop. You do get a pop. I mean, imagine going long $1.40 and getting a free ride to $3 where you're only risking like, you know, $1 or you're only risking 50 cents. You're risking against the dollar, and if you don't want to risk 50 cents, you can just risk the low of that candle right there, which is you know, maybe based on where you get filled, 5 to 10 cents overall. So getting multiple dollars per share for risking 5-10 cents or risking 50 cents, that's a great trade right there. But sadly, yeah, I'm missing out on that one because I was getting my trades reviewed by my bosses. The rebound does not show an increase in volume. Yeah, but it's just a setup that you're betting on that it doesn't go to zero. When the stocks were going down, they didn't really have any news behind them. They were just dropping like a rock without any news, or at least I didn't find any news. So it's just a setup that we have seen previously. Well, I'm gonna be watching it tomorrow for any pops up or a move back down. Talking about a move back down, Apple day 2 today. Friday report, or I guess Friday was day 1 because they reported Thursday after hours. So Friday day 1, today day 2, and very clear weakness on day 2, especially around that $200 area. So tomorrow, if Apple pops, Florida just scored a goal. If Apple pops and plays around that $200 area, I'll be interested to see if there's a trade for me to play again. There's a couple opportunities today off of 200, and I'm sure there'll be some opportunities tomorrow too. And given that the market gapped down, also potentially helping with the Apple weakness overall today. However, market did spend most of the time going up today, and Apple tried to do that but didn't really have too much juice. So the short on Apple worked out. Part of me was trading that short scared because of how strong the overall market was, but hey, when Apple wants to do its own thing, it does so. And that's why you gotta be just trading the setup, trading the charts that are in front of you, and just play the chart, play the setup, you know, just stick to the plan. Stick to the plan, and that's how it played out on Apple. If you had went against the plan, oh, Maple Leaf scored right back. Let's go. Yes, Riley scored right back, and that's why you know, when you get the, now I lost my train of thought. I don't even know where I was. Oh, let's go. Scored right back, 3-1 in the first period. This game is on fire. I gotta shut down the stream and go watch the game. But no, almost done over here talking about stocks. For the most of the other large cap stocks, Microsoft was very strong. I was watching Microsoft be ridiculously strong today. But if market gaps down tomorrow, I think Microsoft is easily pulling back down into earnings day low. So potentially some trades around this area. Keep an eye out for that, which is basically 425. 425, 424.90, 425. Meta, also another earnings name that's very similar to a Microsoft pattern. So keep an eye on this. You can say 600 under over, but the stock has now spent a little bit around 600 with the high at 605 kinda. So you don't really want to be you know, trading around 600 too much, in my opinion. Same thing with Apple. Apple has played around a little bit near 200, so you don't want to be playing around 200 too much. Now the levels are a little bit above and a little bit below 200, so you got to keep that in mind. Meta also a little bit illiquid compared to the other large cap stocks, so the attention to Meta or the priority to Meta is not as high for me. Tesla gapped out of the market, potentially gapping down Tesla over here too, but still waiting patiently for that 295, 293 area, breaking out and charging to the upside. I might even buy some Tesla positions in my own account when this happens and enjoy the ride Tesla gives you to like what, 300 through 400. We've seen how crazy Tesla can get when it breaks and it goes wild. So I'm very interested to take this on my own account. I have some money ready on the side and use that to double my account a little bit. I'm not sure if I'll get 100% in a day or two, but even getting 20% or a little bit higher, I'm very interested to load up on this one over here, especially if the market seems like it is kind of bottoming out, which we will get the answers to very soon. Now you have a rising 9 EMA, rising 21 EMA, 50 DMA. Sorry, I should say DMA. 50-day moving average is still sloped down. 200-day moving average is kind of sloping back up. You could say it's flat. It's not really sloped. So things are looking a little bit better. But we still have that the Trump dude who's been talking about tariff. For example, today he talked about tariffs on movies, on the film industry. So that brought down some of the film industry stocks. Netflix got hurt a little bit, but Netflix so strong that it just kind of kept getting bought up the whole day. What else was there? Disney. So some of these names did move to the downside. I think there is no talks with China planned for this week still, so that's kind of looked at as a little bit bearish. So we're not sure if the bottom's in yet on the market, or if this is potentially going to reject and push back down. All it takes is one negative news about the China deal and we are gonna push right back down. But if we do get positive news about the China deal, the market's basically reclaiming the 200-day moving average. The 200-day moving average is only 10% away from all-time highs, and we are potentially kickstarting the next greatest bull market this market has ever seen, and this is basically a blip in history, right? This is just the tariff blip. We had is it the August? Yeah, we had the Japan carryover trade blip. We had the whatever blip this was, and then you just have a simple normal sell-off on tariff scare, and then a complete insane Kickstarter for the greatest bull run that we've ever seen. So I'm locked and loaded for some possible moves, and if that ends up being with the China deal, then you got to be ready for that one. So not saying we bottomed, but I'm also not saying that we did not bottom. I'm just waiting patiently with my ears put to the markets, put to the news channels, basically put to Trump's Twitter account. My ears are tuned in to Trump's Twitter account and then Trump's Truth social media account, and patiently waiting to see what the news is day by day. Right now, the news doesn't seem too good. Doesn't seem too good, but we'll see what happens. Nvidia, another chart very similar to Microsoft, very similar to Meta. But it's basically just market moves at this point, right? Basic market moves at this point. Anything on MSTR or Robinhood, I don't really see anything going on over there. CEP, anything that I want to keep an eye on? Ooh, big pullback on CEP, but very light volume. So missing out on this one. This is also not my forte. First red day over here. Second red day today, so missing out. Maybe a pop tomorrow will give me a chance to get short. Possible pop and fail around $40 will give me a short on CEP. Let's actually quickly go check out the chart. Yeah, no chance today at all. No chance today at all to get short, really. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't pay attention to this one. And kids, yeah, I'm not sure I'm gonna pay attention to these ones too. But okay, I guess that's about it. That's about the watch list for tomorrow. Main things are Palantir, Apple, what was the other one? Palantir, Apple, and him. So those are going to be the main ones for tomorrow. Pre-market, potentially CELH and Datadog will be upgraded on the priority scale depending on how they report, how the volume is, and so on. And then we'll see what opportunities come into play. Let's quickly go take a look at the IPO calendar. If I remember correctly, there is an IPO. Oh, it's today? No, thank God. That's on Thursday. So make sure you tune in on Wednesday to learn more about Aspen Insurance Holdings. Looks like a decent sized IPO, and actually there's two IPOs. American Integrity Insurance Group. So AII or I'm guessing that's AII. American Integrity Insurance Group and Aspen Insurance Holdings. Two insurance companies IPOing on the same day. That's pretty weird. But anyways, we'll be interested to see how they come into play going into Thursday, May 8th. So tune in May 7th at 8 o'clock and we'll learn more about that one. On the econ calendar, I think we have FOMC next week. I'm pretty sure FOMC is next week. It is. It's the Fed rate decision. Oh no, that's this week. Wait, that's tomorrow. Wait, no, that's this week. Not next week. Oh, baby. So FOMC is this week, and last time I checked FOMC's website, we are expecting to stay still at the current rate decision and no hikes or no cuts either. So not really helping the market, or at least not really helping Trump, because Trump has been bullying Powell into getting a rate cut. So no rate cut for Trump. So market's still possibly pricing that action in already, but if we do get a surprise hike or a surprise rate cut, that's when things get spicy. So today, I guess that makes sense why the market didn't really do a whole lot, right? FOMC on Wednesday, there were a couple numbers today in ISM non-manufacturing and so on. Couple numbers tomorrow too, such as export import at 8:30. 10-year auction, that's a very important number at 1 o'clock. That seems to be about it for tomorrow. And then Atlanta number may or may not have some volatility, but that also happens right at 1 o'clock where the 1-year auction's happening. So obviously important to keep an eye on for that one. And then Wednesday is where all the fun and Thursday there's some good numbers after FOMC also. So good numbers coming out Wednesday and Thursday. And based on that, I'm not expecting too much volatility tomorrow. So gotta maintain your expectations, contain your excitement, and be ready to deploy it when the opportunity sets up. Not saying that there won't be opportunities tomorrow. There's Palantir earnings, so for sure expecting some volatility on that name, expecting some opportunities to trade and make money on this name. Did I? Oh, okay, it's right here. 6.08, 6.88 TR. So expecting at least a $10 range from top to down on Palantir. On a $10 move intraday on Palantir, you know, if you're not able to find a way to make at least $3-4 on a trade, then potentially trading is not for you. So I'm saying that out loud to everybody, not just to you guys, to myself too. So just putting that out there. Palantir for sure the one to focus on in my opinion. That's the top priority name for tomorrow. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna go watch the Maple Leafs whoop Florida Panthers ass. Anyone in here who is Momo has talked about Nintendo, I'm not reviewing Nintendo. This is not a review stocks that I'm not trading show, okay? Also, it's 9 o'clock. I want to get off. I want to get offline. I gotta go do dishes. I gotta go do a bunch of shit. I can do Nintendo for you later on in Discord DMs, which you have my access anyways. Anyways, I gotta get off stream. I gotta go do a bunch of chores and then come back and finish my review process for my day-to-day trading. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Until next time, good luck on the markets. Peace. Forgot my button. Magnificent 7. Get ready for the
the watch list for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here, back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.